All right, it's me again. Changed my shirt. Obviously, McLaren had a real nice F1 day today, so don't know how many more times I'm able to wear this shirt and rep them proudly. And it's also not a NASCAR game anymore, so we had to get out of the NASCAR attire. But this is Funhouse. Funhouse, if you may recognize some of the logos here. High-Tech Expressions likes to take a lot of liberties with a lot of the NES games they made. This one's no exception. This is a TV game show here from 1990 on Fox Kids, hosted by J.D. Roth. And with me, along for the ride as well as J.D., is former world record holder and NES game veteran Smartball. Smartball, how you doing?
I'm well. How are you today? Good job on Days of Thunder.
We're playing video games. It's always a good day when we can do that, right? So, all right, we're gonna get started here on Funhouse in just a sec. Just a rough idea of what's going on, though. We're just gonna shoot a bunch of targets and throw some things at it there, and Smartball can fill you in on some of the goofy controls and stuff that we have to deal with too. But we're gonna go ahead and get started here. Let me make sure I get the chat open so I can see that too. Got minimized there by accident. All right, cool. Alright, then we're going to get going here. Timer is going to start when I hit start, which is going to be in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Alright. Alright, so up there we see J.D. Roth. Smartball, you want to tell him kind of about the controls and what I'm doing with this game? What's even happening here on the screen?
Well, you're on roller skates, supposedly. You have more or less tank controls, so you can you can either spin or you can run. You can do both, but it doesn't handle very well. I don't know. You throw tomatoes at these targets. When you hit all the targets, you get a key. Key brings you to the next level. That's
basically it. The TV show definitely looked a little bit more like Double Dare. They had like trivia questions and obstacle courses and events. And I think the throwing of tomatoes at targets was like one event once upon a time. And that was all the developers looked at, and they were like, yep, that's what we're going to roll with then. That's going to be our entire game. And they basically built these giant mazes of levels and put some obstacles in there here and there for our player to throw tomatoes at and, like I said, grab the key to go to the next level. But the tank controls are really interesting here. And if you were a participant in the Big 20 this past go-around, or a streamer that you followed was, you probably saw a lot of their frustrations with it because... You know, there's a target right there on the left. You feel like Smash TV would let me hold the left part of the D-pad and just fire a tomato and that'd be good enough. But in a game like this, instead, you have to rotate your character all the way around, then throw the tomato, then turn back to the direction you wish to go, and then you can accelerate and start riding away. So it's a lot more complicated than simply just, you know, Smash TV physics, although the game does resemble that a good bit.
Very realistic, though. You can't really do that on roller skates.
For sure. Just wait till we get the ice physics mixed in.
The ice physics are wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
As they are in most games.
Oh, yeah. Now, this is where the run divulges from the any % run. Typically speaking, the any % run's the far more popular run, where players are using warps just like they would in a Mario game to try and get the most efficient way to the ending. This category for really, really longathon is warpless. So normally we would take a shortcut right around there to sneak ahead to the next level. In this case, however, we got to grab this key and go to floor 2, a typically ignored level when it comes to any % runners. But every time we beat a floor, we get this wonderful little cutscene where we can see all 12 stations of this giant obstacle course. This is one of the coolest things at the end. They always had the obstacle course in Double Dare. I did think Funhouse's obstacle course always looked quite a bit cooler, but...
Yeah, agreed.
This is where the levels can start to get a little bit trickier here. We're going to see... some banana cannons show up, some ice physics show up a little bit, and quite a bit more targets than we're used to having. So we got 12 targets in this level. We already taken out the first 3. I'm going to sneak behind these cannons and hopefully sneak behind the blobs.
So there are numbered targets here. You have to hit those specific targets in their respective order. There are unnumbered targets as well, obviously. Those you can hit in any order regardless of whether or not there are numbered ones.
Yeah. And one thing that ends up being quite punishing is that determines a lot of your routing, right? So you get a little bit of a 5-second time boost on your in-game timer there in the corner every time you shoot a target. It might be more efficient to clean up the targets going one direction, but you might run out of time doing that. So you also need to take into consideration, like over there, I like to hit that unnumbered target immediately just because that's on the way. The path I'm traversing here, but like making U-turns is difficult like in this section, so I try to hit those unnumbered targets early. But I don't know, this is one of those games that is it's almost analog-y, even though NES is not an analog controller, in the fact that you're rotating, and you have to wait till exactly the right frame to have rotated the right amount of degrees to throw a tomato. There's just so many tiny little intricacies to it that you typically don't see from an NES or SNES game. It's usually kind of reserved for N64, GameCube, games with joysticks.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of NES speedrunning is be as precise as you can, and you'll do great. The precision isn't really a thing in this.
No, it really isn't.
You can't be precise here. You gotta get good.
You just gotta make the best of whatever imperfections are presumably gonna happen. Like, every single movement you have is gonna be imperfect, right? But if you're playing like Super Mario 1, oh, I was holding B and pressing right. I was going the same speed as the task for a second or two, right? Like, those are things that happen quite frequently. In this game, it's like you're never perfect. You just have to make your imperfections minimal. So, grab that key there, and that was the Link's level. We got this one here, Crawl Before Walking, was one of the brutal levels that people had trouble with in the Big 20 because of this glop gun cannon over here. So I like to take it from the top, even though it's less efficient distance-wise. Oh, and then I blew it anyway. Because typically when you get there, you can go just in front of those little pellets, and each of those pellets takes 3 seconds off of your timer. So if you get lit up there too much, you can definitely take a death, which is not advised, especially in a children's game show.
Yeah, there are definitely times where those cannons just combo you too. Like, they're spinning in the same direction you are, you get hit by several of them at the same time, and you now lost 15 seconds off your clock.
Yep.
Drop of a hat.
Now, this is one of the levels where I'm really going to try to use the banana cannon to my advantage here. The last target I hit, well, the second to last target I hit is going to be right next to a cannon, and I'm going to try and use that to kind of accelerate me down the chute here. So we're going to go take care of these first two up here without incident, hopefully. Then immediately turn around and go here. Try to line up a good shot on the target, and then, oh, okay. So sometimes you can use that first banana, and it shoots you right down the tube as soon as you throw the tomato, and you get like a perfect combo. It doesn't come together all the time, but when it does, you feel like you're in a freaking funhouse. Yeah, it looks great too. It's like, wow, it looked so orchestrated. But that's floor 2. We're allegedly done 1/6 of the game. And now we're on the sliding course.
I love the contestants' dance.
Oh, yeah.
Pop between floors.
The best one's obviously 11, because they didn't put them in a horizontal position. They make them like standing up inside of the tube.
Yeah.
Alright, so now the levels start to get quite a bit more maze-worthy here. They put like, oh, crap, one's down here. I forgot already. Alright, so these little pachinko-looking bumpers, these little yellow things here, not only do they send you really far if you happen to hit them, they also have the most unforgiving hitboxes imaginable. Imagine that, like, the file for it was like a PNG, alright, but it had, like, transparent corners to make that circle, because, you know, the files have to be rectangular, but the hitbox is still the same rectangle. That's basically what it is. Like, the corners of it that you can't see still hit you. So. That's my lame graphic design attempt at trying to explain the stupid bumpers. The blobs can be that way too, but I guess they fill out the corners a little bit. They don't seem to be as punishing to me.
I would agree with that. The bumpers are just the worst.
Alright.
It's just amazing how often they're just perfectly in your way.
Yeah. Oh man, it's a really rough level in 5-1 in the 80% run, but there is a really, really... There are a couple of really bad bumper levels in the warpless run.
Oh yeah. You could actually defeat the bumpers, though, by throwing tomatoes at them.
Oh, yeah. If you throw, like, 5 of them in a row, but if you leave the screen and come back, I do believe there are HP resets.
Oh, I'm not entirely sure of that, but yeah, you're probably right.
Alright, I like to take these two out first up here, even though it's probably not what the game developers wanted you to do. You go against the current here and hit those. It just seems to be the most efficient use of time.
Yeah, for sure.
And then go zigzagging through here. 4, and then 5, and then 6 is back this way. That's a pretty good license to skate.
Yeah, that was quite good.
The next level here, we're going to see a whole lot of ice and shooting pool, and this is where those blob hitboxes I was worried about kind of come into play. So we're just going to try and stay as close to the wall as possible when we make vertical movements here. Let's see the blobs I'm talking about, these red guys going back and forth. we saw them a few times earlier, but this one's really positioned in an awkward spot, so I just try to stay behind them, more or less, to not really be a problem. The names of these levels tend to be slight hints at what they're kind of about. Like, this level's called Shooting Pool, so it's a rectangle with, like, 6, like, pockets almost to it. That's kind of neat, but not all the time are they like that. Sometimes they're very deceptive in their names.
They do have some pretty interesting designs, too.
Yeah.
Like pachinko, they have a pachinko machine kind of where you're just bouncing around everywhere.
Oh, yeah. This next one is called Funhouse Racetrack, and if it's anything, not really much of a racetrack. It's certainly not like any of the racetracks we saw recently in Days of Thunder, because there's nothing but right turns, no left turns. But they did put some cool little conveyor action here, where they're kind of like banking the turns for you. Like, it like forces you to go into the racetrack sort of thing. I think that's kind of cool. It's almost like roller derby-esque, although I've never seen a roller derby rink covered in ice.
It's the conveyor belts are quite helpful for keeping your, I don't know, your angle right.
Yeah.
Just keeping you on the track.
The problem, however, with the ice physics, and as you guys will see later, some of the super skate physics, is that your distance of your tomato throws is reduced. And it's greatly reduced if you throw more than one tomato. One thing that I always try to get really precise about, because then it allows... Your fastest way out of the stage is to animate the key as fast as possible, right? Because theoretically, when you shoot this target, you still have to wait for the key to pop up before you can grab it. You try to shoot it from literally as far away as humanly possible. And on ice and on the skate, that distance is reduced a good bit. But if you can throw one tomato, literally perfect, and hit the target, that will spawn the key faster than any other action would. So that's what we try to do, especially on the less complicated levels, is throw the key in a perfect position to be able to... Or throw the tomato in a perfect position to get that key out there fast. This level is so much tougher than Fort Glop, which is similar to this level with more obstacles. But there is one nice thing about this level, Smartball.
What's that?
The 7th target is not in one of these. It's secretly hidden down here.
Oh, right. Yeah, they're doing the
So you can get it down there, which is much easier to grab than trying to... If you get that unnumbered target first, you add like 5 seconds to your in-game timer, which is convenient, but it makes it really, really tough to grab the key later, because then it's surrounded by all those conveyor belts.
Yeah, then you're fighting conveyor belts that are all facing away from the key.
Oh, yeah. Alright, now we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about some of the superstars involved in this game. JD Roth, right here, pictured on the screen. One of my sub-emotes, as well as one of my when people used to host on Twitch. Nice little alert for that. He has since becoming a game show host for kids' TV shows. He did that many more times. He's also the host of the Game Pro show. You guys remember that from the early to mid '90s as well. He then went on to become executive producer of The Biggest Loser. Now, that is what most people know him for, actually. But he got his start of TV fame by hosting these kids shows. He also did like Masters of the Maze and a couple other relatively obscure TV game shows from that era. But did you notice that he liked the tweet of the most recent world record?
He did.
Yeah, he did. I've been waiting. He doesn't have DMs open. I would love to mail him a copy of Funhouse to sign. I would absolutely buy another complete box just for him to sign. That would make me so happy.
One of the previous world record holders, Author Blues, got a signed photo of him.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That is the dream right there. Alright, this level, Concentrate, is like a clone of a level that we'll see later in the run. So it's actually really tricky to try and memorize which hallways you go up in this one, and don't mix them up with the other one. Oh, I missed the 3, that's great. On my other screen here, I'm staring at a gigantic... map is being very generous. The Game Fac is where we're getting a lot of information for this game over the years. That is wonderful ASCII art that people made, all these wonderful maps with like backslashes and asterisks and capital letters and such.
I gotta say, the effort put into this Game Fac is immeasurable. It's fantastic.
No, I just love the Game Facts in general, where people were always like making the coolest looking logos that way.
Yeah,
yeah. Where like you open this Game Fac and it's like 37K, and you open it up and it's like 23K with just the logo. Just like
I mean, this game pack is no exception.
Yeah.
It has a Funhouse logo printed in M's.
But yeah, so JD Roth, obviously a television superstar, got his start here in Funhouse. Smartball, obviously incredible speedrunner, got his early times in Funhouse. Has gone on to do amazing things as well.
Yeah. Yeah, this was a relatively early game that I ran. It was kind of on a dare, but...
How did you guys find this game?
So I was told about it through Author Blues and Darbian.
Okay.
They apparently played it one night at the Southern Speedrun Summit, which was an old marathon that they used to do.
Oh, yeah.
And apparently they were playing it off stream one night, and they were talking about potentially doing runs of it, and Author Blues started, and I hopped in.
That's awesome. I was one of the lucky few who actually watched this TV show as a kid. So I had this cartridge growing up. I didn't understand why it was so different from the TV show. There was actually a Funhouse board game that came out around this time as well, and I had that, and it was an absolute piece of junk. It was like a mousetrap knockoff with all these like tiny little mini events and rubber bands and junk pieces of plastic.
I can see that.
But yeah, so I was gravitated towards this and American Gladiators really early when I started speedrunning because they were games that I figured I was in the 99th percentile as far as hours logged already, so I figured I had a pretty good head start. So when people had actually played it and were talking about it and stuff, I was like, oh, wow, because every time I would talk about Funhouse, everyone's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. About Krusty's Funhouse? The Simpsons game? And I'm like, no, it's Funhouse. So,
It's just the regular Funhouse.
we have now journeyed back into the levels that Smartball is way more familiar with. We have connected ourselves back to the any percent run. The warp that we had at the beginning in 1.6 takes you to 4.5, so these levels here are also part of the any percent run, not just of the warpless run. So,
Yeah.
Typically speaking, these levels will be way more consistent on my timer when I'm, speedrunning this for world records because I'm just so much more consistent at these levels in particular. But things can still go wrong occasionally.
Oh, they always can.
And that's floor 4. So we're now going to go into floor 5, which is where Smartball just mentioned a second ago. Pachinko can ruin a whole lot of runs.
I remember in the early days of speedrunning, Author Blues was telling me, you're just going to get some run with some godlike Pachinko that I can't beat, and it's going to be off the table. But
if I can get
with your skill level,
if I can get 61 seconds in the in-game timer here, I'm fine. I'll feel very satisfied with that. But sometimes things can go south.
There was never any consistency for me here.
I like to go diagonal through these. I don't know if that's the most efficient way, but it feels like it is for me.
More efficient than anything I've ever done, for sure.
It's not good.
Oh, you got bumpered.
I used to have a GIF of this that I made that I would play with an 8-bit version of the Bag Raiders Shooting Star song. And it would just have me bouncing back and forth over and over again in the corner. Alright. That wasn't too bad. That could have gone better, but it definitely could have gone worse. Alright, so...
They could always go worse.
Now we have the introduction to the Super Skate, my favorite and least favorite item in the game. It lets you go really, really fast, as you can see here, but watch this. I'm gonna throw a tomato. Oh, I got it that time! When you throw a tomato at full speed in this thing, it travels 3 inches in front of you. So the window you have in which to throw it and actually hit the target you're aiming for is so small. Oh, I can't believe that worked.
It would go the same distance, it's just you're going faster than
exactly.
It looks so much less, and your reaction time is basically nothing for when you have to throw it.
The margin for error is so ridiculously tiny. So here we go on Ice Fractal, which I don't know if there's anything fractal-like about this, but it is covered in ice. The banana cannon's going down. Okay, cool. Those banana cannons appear to be on the same global timer, the left one and the right one, so I kind of just keep an eye on where the first one is and kind of use that to estimate where the second one's going to be, but I can typically not have to fight through it to get the 1. I always have to deal with it when I'm back here at 7 and 8, but at least when I'm trying to get the 1, I hope I don't have to deal with that guy too much, because he pushes you around, you're already on ice, and you're already on rollerblades, so there's just too many variables. I don't need bananas to hit me too. Bounce through there. And then there's some... you may have seen them already. There's some hidden clocks that will add a bunch of in-game timer for me, which is nice, but it's actually not good from a speedrun perspective, because at the end of the level, we do have to spend a few frames as they count down the timer there. So it's not substantial, it's not quite like Mario seconds would be. But it is a couple of frames there you have to wait for, so we try to avoid those if we can.
Like a frame for every 5 seconds or something like that.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
It's nothing tremendous.
I'm sorry, I changed the shirt because we're not driving NASCAR stuff anymore, so I wanted to change to the McLaren shirt because of spoilers, they got a podium today. I didn't think it would be right to wear a Red Bull shirt, though, because they get podiums all the time. Oh, no, we missed the 8!
Oh, no.
There we go. Good snipe. Wow, I can't believe we got the 9 so easily.
Yeah, sometimes the 9 and then the key afterwards can be tricky with both of those shooters right there.
Yep. We are currently less than half a second behind world record pace right now. That's how bad my run was yesterday. That had an amazing ending. Just doing some practice yesterday. Happened to take a few seconds off the world record by accident. But I don't really want to submit yet, because I don't think it's particularly polished. But there need to be more runners of warpless, to be honest. There's way too big of a delta between me and second place. I am not that good to deserve that delta.
I know Lack Attack expressed interest in it for a little bit.
Yeah, like 5 minutes.
He might have moved on. He might get it back when he gets it in his Mission NES.
Well, I think that's the thing, right? He did the big 20. He knew this game. He wanted to get it while it was sharp. Like, he's got so much going on and so many more games to worry about. Like, that's pretty admirable of him to even put in that time to do warpless, not even any percent, just warpless. That's pretty cool, but... Alright, counterclockwise is just what you expect it to be. This is going to be kind of wheel-shaped here, and we're going to go counterclockwise. Some ice physics and a nice little glop gun in the middle. Now, notice the in-game timer there started us at about 30 seconds. That was pretty generous. The next level that we see in the next floor that is similar to this is not as nice. Even though the level was laid out almost exactly the same. But the timer can be a little more punishing.
I always found it satisfying going through these diagonal arms if you just get the line just right.
Oh, yeah. Just go perfectly full speed. I actually like it so much more in the other level because you go diagonal to diagonal. Yeah. And so when you get to sync those... I skated on the ice too far. When you get to sync those up perfectly, it just... Yeah, it's very satisfying. That was not a particularly good run of that level, especially going the wrong hallway, but that's alright. That is floor 5. We're now almost halfway through the game. Are there supposed to be toilets over at level 3, you think?
They look quite like it.
I mean, if we're just talking about what you're capable of drawing on an NES, I don't know if you're going to be drawing it too much differently than that. I guess that's supposed to be like a sewer slide or a pipe or something? I don't know. Whatever. There are no pinball flippers in this level, but there are plenty of bumpers and plenty of ice and plenty of things that are out of our control. So we try to keep the guy's speed a little bit lower, which the way that you do that, especially on ice, is just to turn the opposite direction you're currently spinning and then add a little bit of thrust to it. Like just accelerate it, and you can kind of stop there. You kind of just skate in the opposite direction that you're traveling. So you just rotate while you're in the middle of moving and go the opposite way a little bit. So,
that's a pinball.
Yeah, that could have been a whole lot worse. I'm pretty happy to get out of it like that. Let's see here.
Oh, binary. Was it the first of many where it's just back and forth?
Oh, yeah. That is a pretty popular theme here, where they put like tunnels like that in the middle.
Especially in the later game.
Oh, yeah. And all it is kind of eating up time, right? Oh, I went the wrong way. 3 is up here. What do I get for not looking at the ASCII map? This is an any percent level. I shouldn't have made that mistake. No excuse. Alright, so 5's down here. I know what you're thinking. You're like, wow, this music is really repetitive, but it is really good.
It is.
And I couldn't agree more. It's because of the legendary George Sanger. How many George Sanger NES games do you know, Smartball?
I honestly not
Okay.
many. I tend to not pay attention to the credits.
I'm gonna name some for you, and you're gonna be like, wow, that does sound like the same guy. Alright?
I mean, every time you mention one to me, I'm like, oh yeah, no, that tracks. That's exactly who made it. he definitely has his distinct sound.
Maniac Mansion, very clearly a George Sanger game. We got The Rocketeer, Total Recall, Adventures of Rad Gravity, Defenders of Dynatron City.
Good old Rad Gravity.
Rad Gravity is an incredible game too.
Yeah.
Tecmo NBA Basketball. Now, the one game that he made the sound for that feels incredibly did you actually do this, or was this a different guy with the same name as you? Is Home Alone. And the reason why I think Home Alone sounds so different, I'm just hypothesizing. I have not talked to the man himself about this. They may have given him particular guidelines or told him that he was only working with this many bits for sound or this many sound effects. I feel that they spent way too much effort on the sound effects in that game, and they limited the amount of tracks that he could work with for the songs.
Could be.
But yeah. Have you ever played Home Alone NES?
I've seen it played.
You could set world record today if you want to.
I know. I know the lore. I remember, I think it was AGDQ 2020 where tons of people all in the practice room at the same time just set it up together.
I tried to run a NES block run where I ran Home Alone on one screen and other George Sanger games on the other screen to see if I could beat 3 George Sanger games at the same time. Like 20 minutes.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. Monster Truck Rally was another one that I had done there, but more Sanger bangers than that one. Tecmo NBA, obviously, ton of. I think Tecmo NBA Basketball. I actually think Tecmo Super NBA Basketball is his greatest work, but it doesn't have the same feel to it because it is 16-bit. But it's you could listen to that and be like, oh yeah, that's for a basketball game, very clearly. It's just the orchestra and instrument choices that he uses make it definitely sound like a basketball game. But great work. Really lucky that he's one of the 6 people responsible for making this thing.
Yeah. Definitely one of the better workers.
Yeah. Alright, there's all 9 here at Cross Street, and this is where our run will divulge from any percent again. So, this level, Chambers, you'd go backwards and just go right by target 6 and hit the shortcut and warp ahead to 9-1. In our case, however, we're going to hit the targets like the game designers intended. I mean, I guess they programmed the shortcut, so I guess they intended that to be used too.
Yeah.
But,
oh, they even have a great cutscene for it.
Yeah. Go.
So there are items, all you have to do to trigger them is to run into the wall nearby. These items are hidden all over the place. I personally, I'm just dying to know if there are items that we don't know about yet, like other warps.
I don't think there are other warps, but I bet you there are other items that haven't been labeled in the game facts thing. I don't know. It just seems like there's so many walls that haven't been hit to test them out yet.
I kind of want to just throw a Game Genie code on that gives infinite time.
And just grind every level?
Just run into every wall.
We will actually run into a wall next floor when we're trying to get one of the hidden skates that we're going to need to go a little bit faster in certain spots. So you'll see us use a lot of those secret items a little bit later. You usually only see that any percent, but you definitely do see it in warpless as well.
Yeah, with even if there are just spare skates in the walls that we don't know about. I know there's some in the final level.
I used the one in the final level in yesterday's run for the first time, so...
Wonderful.
Yep. It only saved like 3 seconds overall, but it was still worth it, obviously.
Yeah, for sure.
It was very high risk, though. I don't know how... If I wasn't just practicing for the marathon anyway, and I was like... The run was almost perfectly optimized, and it was like, you're 2 seconds ahead. You could just take this run as is. Or you could gamble. After an hour run, it's kind of tough when it's weighing on you there. Alright, this level here is one of the more punishing levels for new players. There's some times where you're supposed to run against the current. There's a lot of things in wrong places that don't make a whole lot of sense. I wasn't supposed to go in here yet. But usually they'll put 1 next to 2, next to 3, next to 4, next to 5, etc. This level does not do that at all. This level tries to have you guessing wrong. It starts you next to the 2, which is in the opposite part of the stage compared to the 1. They intentionally do this, and if you've never played this level before, odds that you are not going to lose a life are pretty slim. So, play it careful through here, get everything that we can. That blob is perfectly positioned to block us. Yeah. Now, the one thing that's nice about this game, and probably why it got included in the Big 20, is it's very forgiving continue system. If you do happen to take... You don't get to continue right where you left off, but you do get to go back to the beginning of the floor that you were on. So it's not quite as miserable as, like, having to restart the game or something like that. And it doesn't require you to, like, hold A and press start for this, like, secret button command to keep your continued spot. Like, they know. They understand what they put out there.
Yeah, a lot of it's intentional, honestly. Like, especially in later levels. A level like this, they don't intend for you to beat the first try. They want you to take several tries and they made the creative choice of making that 7-1, right? Like, if they had made that 7-6, yes,
that would be far more punishing. Be like, okay, you got to this level that we knew you weren't going to be able to beat, and now you have to go back and beat all these levels again. Now, they at least put it at 7-1, so if you do spend 3 lives there, you can get it out of the way. And now you know the level, like, moving forward. Like, you're only going to get confused by it once. Unless you're trying to look at the ASCII map, in which case I get confused every time.
I mean, yeah.
This level is actually really punishing if you happen to miss one of these things.
You can miss it once, but I'm not sure you can miss a bumper.
Yeah, and it depends if you miss it by a bumper or not. If you miss it from a bumper, then you're pretty much screwed, because if it sends you in the wrong one, or sends you way up and you lose, like, your equilibrium or whatever there, it can be really punishing.
The timer's definitely unforgiving in this level.
Yeah. Well, with only the 6 targets, you really don't have a whole lot of time getting added either. Like, a lot of the, like, this level, incredibly punishing, very, very high variance, it's an absolute mess. But there's so many targets that you're not really going to die on this level.
Right.
Alright, so my strategy in this level is to try and get as many of this unnumbered garbage as I can on the way down the one, because this is at least I'm going with the current. But all the numbered targets go against the current. So we have to kind of try to fight the conveyors to just take out the numbered ones as we get to them here. I try to clean up as much as the unnumbered ones that I can early. Get this one. 4, maybe? Okay. Gotta watch out for that blob. Its hitbox is not the most forgiving. Oh, come on, that was a snipe. I got that. I intentionally only threw 1 tomato at it because I wanted the extra distance. Alright, there's an unnumbered one up here in the corner. I think that's all of our numbered ones. So you theoretically could go all the way back to here to start the level, but I think that's just too far to travel, and then you have so much time of no targets nearby. I like to save this one for last, because it's past that blob. As you can get a little boost from it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that level can be unforgiving, but you saw there, we had so much time left in the in-game timer that we were never in doubt of losing a life, but there were plenty of things that you'd like to clean up there if you could. Hey, it's a level where we go back and forth, except we only have to do it once here.
Oh, yeah. It's got all of them on the same side.
Mm-hmm. And glop guns guarding everything.
Of course. What's life without glop guns?
Yeah. I do like that they put the second, like, theoretically you should never have to use that path to go back to the other side there, but if you do make that mistake, it's like, alright, you don't have to fight the current at least.
Yeah, that's a mistake path.
Always get that one first and get this one last, otherwise you have to try and grab the key while getting shot by the bananas.
Yep. Well, it could lower your time and save you frames about the level.
This level is incredibly punishing if you happen to miss one. There's no way back to the beginning, so if you miss a target early on for whatever reason, I'm actually going to grab that clock there just because...
Oh, there's a way back, it's just against the conveyor belt.
Yeah, well, you're going to run out of time. I do get greedy with that one and don't actually go into that little section, and if the tomatoes just happen to miss, I'm just in big trouble. Like this?
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, nice shot.
You gotta just throw 1 at it so you get that extra distance. And then back up here for the last one. There we go.
Yeah, I never quite realized that when I was playing.
You just spam B, right? You're just like, just throw all the tomatoes all the time. Just tape the B button down. But that little bit of extra distance, and I don't even think it was intentional. I think it's one of those kind of like Galaga moments where it's like, there's too many bullets in the screen. All right, we have to remove one of these sprites because you added another one, sort of thing. You know what I mean? Like it's... Yeah. It's just it's not necessarily a design, it just happens to be the way it is, yeah. And here's the first hidden skate that we use. There we go. Grab that, and then we can fly through here. We can despawn some of the... or screw up the music. You like that? Those sound effects using the exact same channels that George Sanger's wonderful Track 3 was supposed to be using.
I can't believe they do such a thing.
Alright, that's floor 7. It does get a little bit messier here, but the next few levels aren't too... well, actually, sorry. 8-1 is, like, my least favorite level in the run.
Yeah.
It is so bad. You have to avoid the skate at all costs. I don't know why they put that skate there. I don't know if they meant to do that as, like, a reward, but it is absolutely punishing. It is so mean. So I'm going to try and fight the current here as soon as I get to the top and get close to the bottom of this wall to hopefully avoid the skate. I don't want the skate at all for this ice. Good. Alright. We're going to try and negate our speed. Oh, we got bumpered.
Just for these bumpers.
Oh, yeah.
Really shine. It looks like you have all the room in the world between the bumpers.
But you don't.
You will hit them more often than you would think, and they'll send you flying, especially if you have the super skate.
The super skate's impossible to stop with, too. Like, at least that, I can do a 180, kind of accelerate, and negate all my speed there, but...
right.
That is brutal. Alright. Here's a whole lot more bumpers, but this time at least we're not on ice. So, I'm going to try and shoot some of these to kind of keep it reasonably clean, but you can actually... like, I'm going to sneak past this one. Forget it. I don't know, are you more of a sneak past guy, or are you more of a shoot guy?
Definitely more of a shoot guy.
Yeah.
But,
you have to take care of those.
I mean, yeah, the number 5 one you have to get.
I do believe you can get through this one, but I'm not going to try it. I think you can actually go, so you can split that in the middle.
Really?
Yeah, the walls are covered off there, but the hitboxes line up so the middle works or something.
I would be surprised.
I got a save state. I will abuse later for you. Alright. This next one, if you happen to go up in the first set of conveyors, you're just immediately dead. Because you can't make it back before you run out of time, so we're going to try to avoid this banana guy. Alright, that's good. Good enough. We don't care if these guys hit us. But we now have to scale the mountain, and then come down the mountain, and hit all the targets on the way down. They don't give us a whole lot of time to do it, but there are enough targets here that we should get a reasonable time bonus. But if you happen to go the wrong way at first... You know what would have been really mean if they made these targets numbered, Smartball. If you went the wrong way, or if it's like, oh, I missed one. And it's like, oh, well, I can't go around and do a second loop. I have to literally fight back and get rid of it. He's so mean.
It is also quite nice that they put them in little alcoves to catch you when you're falling.
That's good. And this last one's actually pretty easy to grab.
Yeah.
If they put that one further up, that'd actually be kind of annoying too. You'll see that a lot in the later levels. They'll put a lot of the key grabs in the middle of conveyors, and a lot of the tricks that we'll use is turning our character facing backwards when we get there. Actually, I'll do it in this level. So that way we can pick up the key rather easily. I actually don't play this level the way the game developers intended. This level, called Double Helix, is shaped like a double helix. Like a figure 8 with like an extra step to it. So you notice here that 7 is going to be the last target we hit. And we're going to want to come at it from the bottom. But every time we go through one of these sections, we always get banana cannoned and sometimes blobbed. So what I'm going to do is when I come back here again, I'm actually going to go against the current in one of these stretches. And, oh, I didn't want to hit that blob. But I'm going to stay here in the bottom and just fight this one. Because that seems to be just slightly faster than going all the way up and around.
I can see that.
And then, to get this target, I like to face backwards. Shoot it when I'm right on top of it and just kind of hover.
Yeah.
And just tap A and B there. It's a little bit trickier. You don't get to spawn the key quite as fast as if you were facing forwards, but you don't have to wait to turn all the way around. And now we're back on the any percent levels.
Woo! I'm back.
Yeah. Now this level, man, when you first get to this level, after you're like, wow, I'm going to try learning this run. Alright, there's a warp here on 5-5 that takes me here to 8-3 or whatever. You get here to the first time. This is like, oh my gosh, what a step up in difficulty this is. And it doesn't look that much more complicated than Van Allen Belt is, but there's so much fewer targets, and the yellow bumpers are so much worse than the banana cannons are, so... that you have in Van Allen Belt. So we'll take this and get out of there pretty quick.
just it really pays in this game while running this game to just take the extra time to make sure your angle is right while you're not trying to move forward.
Exactly.
And then once you know the angle is right, then just press on.
This is one of the levels where a task would be incredible to watch, right? Like all the other task levels would be like, oh wow, he just took that turn and cornered it perfectly. That one would look nuts. I feel like because you'd have to be so precise and aligned, it would look nothing like human players. Like we do so many turns in this game that like, oh man, I was just a pixel off of that corner. Like I feel like the task would look at least somewhat similar, but on that level in particular, it's got to be insane. Now here's where the reaction time can be brutal. Oh, we got it. Oh, we didn't get that one.
Not 3.
Yeah. You also, when you're running by at regular speed, you can always like juke a little bit to the left or the right and like severely adjust the angle of the tomato. When you're in the skate, you're almost going perfectly straight no matter what. So it's really hard to correct any kind of, you know, being off center at all.
Yeah.
Try to grab that skate at like the highest point possible so that I can still be aligned with the target and the 5, which is in the center. Decent pace right now as we head off to Fort Glop, where the levels really start to pick up in difficulty. Oh, it is Double Dare at home. Or Wish.com Double Dare. You're absolutely right there. Alright, so Fort Glop coming up here, similar to the suborbitals level we did before. This is a very difficult key grab. Plenty of cannons and things to mess us up, but enough targets, and there's a clock here if things start going south. I have to imagine this is probably near the top of one of your least favorite levels, Smartball.
Absolutely.
Like, knowing your stream, you don't get worked up and too angry about much, but I bet this one drove you insane.
Plenty of these levels drove me insane, to be honest.
No, I only had the luxury of being able to see your former world record run. I never got to see all your grind. But I wonder how many runs ended here.
Enough of the... Oh, I'm just looking at trying to get the key here.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. With ton shooting, it's not bad. It's that.
That was really good, but that's just never how it went.
No, that was a really, really good key grab. They typically do not go that well, even for me. I struggle with that all the time. And it's one of those things where it's like, because the key is sitting right there, it's so much more frustrating. It's like, just grab it! Just do the stupid little thing! We've already done it 37 times already!
It's right there. First the Glock gun gets you, then the banana cannon gets you.
Yeah.
They just seem to combo you.
Oh, yeah. And it's just like, because the conveyor is so precise and where you want to be lined up and when you can go, it's just a mess.
Yeah.
But I'm glad they made that 9-1 and not 9-6 for the beginners out there. This level's called chess. It more resembles checkers than chess. It's also half the size. But that's okay, as we're not supposed to be on that conveyor part, I guess, but whatever. This level, I think, was unfinished. This level is incredibly easy. I don't know if this one here, that there's only one numbered target, 2 unnumbered targets, so I don't know if it was meant to just kind of be like a brain teaser and like kind of confuse people into looking for other targets, but this is super duper easy once you know where to go. This is, I think, the shortest level on the run outside of like Overture.
Yeah.
Like, this might be shorter than 4 corners. And then followed by one of the longest levels in the run.
Oh yeah, this level wasn't.
So there is so much time here to be earned from the 17 targets they're going to give us. So we ideally don't want to grab any of the clocks that adds even extra time to it, but because we'll be on a super skate and on ice and a lot of those little chambers there, it might just be kind of unavoidable. So we're hoping we don't get any of those. I'm going to avoid this one as best I can, and nope, it didn't work. It's okay. Whatever the amount of time I would have spent avoiding the clock would have been nullified by just getting the clock anyway and getting there faster, so...
The super skate does what the super skate wants.
Yeah, I mean, look at my guy in here. This is not under control at all. Alright, so the skate is worn off, so it does take us a little bit more effort to go against the current now of the conveyors. They trick you. They make you think you want to go in there, but you don't. You want to shoot this 3 first. Then you want to go in there.
I don't want to go in there.
I think in the run yesterday I went in there first, and I couldn't come out. It was just like marathon practice. I was just talking to people in chat, and I was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing?
Wait, that's a 4.
Yeah. Oh, I had to go too far for that, but whatever. Now, we do get this clock here, not because we need it, but because the ground underneath of it is not... it doesn't have conveyor on it, so it lets you kind of run ahead a little bit.
Yeah,
it didn't get the best bounce. Sometimes you can bounce off of that with enough momentum and almost avoid an entire tile. There we go, it's a longer tomato shot. But yeah, you see 82 seconds left in that timer, even though that level was so long. They were very generous with that. And this is where we would warp ahead to 12-1, so we will diverge paths again, Mr. Any %.
I'll see you back at 12-1.
Alright. So, Funhouse Donut, just a big old circle here with a bunch of targets. And a lot of Glock guns, really trying to light us up here.
As much as Fort Glop infuriated me, the levels where you're just running down the corridor with a bunch of Glop and banana cannons,
Yeah?
those were the one.
The next one?
Was the mind.
Try Again was like that.
Try
right
Again.
here. Now this is a level with only one target. But if you goof up, it goes really bad.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Something like that.
Playing that for the first time casually without looking at a map or something, that had to be the most infuriating thing. Yeah, I didn't know any of the warps when I was a kid either. I knew about the very transparent one in 2-1, but I didn't know about any of the others.
Right.
So, I was always playing warpless as a kid.
Didn't the 2-1 one just bring you to like 2-2 or something?
Yep, it was just like transparent, it was right out in the open. I tried to warn everyone in the Big 20 that if you accidentally bump into that, you have to reset. Just don't touch that thing.
Yeah, reset the run or game over or
Yeah.
something. So you could go back to 2-1.
Which game overing in this game is actually really hard. You have to wait a long time.
Yeah, unless there's a Glock gun.
Yeah. Alright. This is where the levels really start to get mean as far as obstacles go. Okay, cool. There was no blob there. Sometimes the blob is like right in that hallway and impossible to navigate around. So, pretty fortunate there. We'll come up here to get the 4. Double banana cannons here. And then we're going to go all the way to the current here of the conveyor and then cut up so that we don't hit that. So we don't hit that ridiculous hitbox blob as we hit the ridiculous hitbox blob. I try to stay as far left as possible so I can hit that 6 without going down that little tube, because then I have to fight the current. That was a pretty good JD's Fortress.
Yeah.
In good shape there. This is one of my favorite levels of the run. This is... This super skate level is kind of nuts, and you really do have to kind of maximize your skate before it wears out, because you're going to be doing a lot of against the current running here. One time that I always forget to get this target right here at the beginning, and then the one just inside the next little loop here, you'll see. Also one down here. It's kind of hidden. The other ones are all really along the path of numbers anyway, so you don't miss them, but get that, and get out of here. Let's get this 2. Fight the current here for 3. And now we have a whole lot of targets to hit while we're running full speed of the super skate, so we need perfect reaction time.
Easy peasy.
And it runs out right as we get to the 4. That was a great run, we'll take that. That's a fun level though, because it is almost impossible if you don't know what you're doing. And when it goes right, it looks great. Now this is an extra loop added to our double helix from floor 7 earlier, so...
Well, that's what an ultra double helix is in real life.
Oh, is it? It's only 4? It's only 4.
I don't know.
I'm gonna do the exact same thing you saw me do before, though, where I'm gonna not take the last path as intended. So this one wants me to enter from the top to go down here to my final targets, where 4 and 9 happen to be hiding. So I'm going to fight the current there rather than going around these banana cannons. Now, there's no blobs this time, which is actually makes this level easier, in my opinion, but they probably thought by adding more targets and more distance it was more difficult. But I actually don't find the timer to go down nearly as low in this level as I do with the shorter one.
I was wondering if throwing tomatoes makes it so those spread shooters shoot less.
Oh, and just like spamming it there? I've always wondered about that, because sometimes it seems like those sprites can like despawn You really notice it a lot in floor 2, especially on the floor to and fro, where there's blobs and points and stuff at the same time, and it seems like that the targets can despawn sometimes. Like, you're just getting there, and then there's not even a target to shoot. So, I've always wondered that. As you can imagine, this game is not at the top of the list of any of the famous taskers out there on their to-do list. But I think Technical, he's a top gear tasser and speedrunner, worked on this and finished floor 1 once, and then it was like, it's boring. Looks like a regular run. I was like, yeah, I figured as much. Alright, so Ultra Oversight is just like Easy Oversight earlier, except there's more targets, and if you miss one, you can't really make it back conveniently. Oh, that was a great shot. Didn't have to fight for that one at all.
Very close on the 2.
Yep. That, and 5 is real close down here. A couple unnumbered ones. Perfect. 9 is right here. That was a really good Easy Oversight.
Yeah.
And now we get some more Super Skate action here in Bull Run. This level is shaped like I guess it's supposed to be like bull horns, but it's really just kind of like I don't know, like a little loop pattern here. Almost like a helix, but not quite. Not quite an ultra double helix. But you can shortcut through some of these there. If like you miss one, you're like, oh, I don't want to go all the way around the entire track again.
If you have the Super Skate.
Yeah. I try to use that Super Skate there until I get to the 3. If I have that, then that makes it 3 much easier. The 3 and the 6 are by far the most difficult targets to hit in this level, so we really need to make sure our locations are precise. And I'm just trying to avoid the clocks as much as I can. Oh, missed the 5, that's okay. This 6 we gotta stay all the way over here on the left for. Start spamming it now. Because it does start pushing you right as soon as before you even get within range of the 6, so.
Where the targets used to be when they're on a conveyor belt is quite useful if you're having to traverse back, as we saw in the previous level. But like,
yep.
Because those small circles, the vacant circles, aren't conveyored.
Yep.
It gives you like a little boost to speed if you run over one of those. And
yeah.
All the difference when you're trying to go against the grain.
It will make itself very obvious when we get to 11-1.
Yeah.
Center of Gravity. This is actually my favorite level to run, mostly because of the new tech. Have you watched this yet?
No.
I was really hoping I could surprise you with that. I'm glad I got to.
That's fantastic.
Is shooting those there so I don't have to go down those hallways at all. And we used to end the level right here, and we would hit 5 and 6 and save the unnumbered for the key. But now that we shoot 1 and 2 that way, we can go and hit these unnumbered ones last. And then grab the Super Skate. Get these last few. I can get that one through the wall, but I can't get this one, so I have to go back here anyway.
Right, you don't want the last one to be through the wall.
Just the way that the game developers intended.
Yeah.
Alright, so 11-1, as I just mentioned a second ago, Center of Gravity has me doing a lot of current fighting. I'm actually going to go and shoot what they hope to be the final target at the beginning. They save it there at the end so that it's easy to grab. I'm actually going to do a lot of what they don't want you to do. So this level has kind of like a spiral that loops back to the beginning sort of pattern, and they kind of want you to just go through it 3 times to take out all the targets. I'm only going to go through it once. Actually, I'm not even going to go through it completely once. As soon as I go through it the first time, almost all the way through, I'm going to make a U-turn and then go backwards through it instead, so I don't have to go through a lot of needless traveling. So it does mean, though, that we cannot miss any early targets, because I have no intention of coming back to this section of the level, so normally if you missed one of these unnumbered ones, like, it's okay, you'll catch it on the second or third time through. And they do spam a lot of extra targets in this level. As you can see, we still have 15. So, we gotta clean all these up as best we can now. And we will go through this section again, though, for 6 and 9, etc. But we will not go through that area where 1, 2, and 3 were. Or 1 and 2 and all those unnumbered ones, rather. Alright. Here's where the fun starts. Go down here, we'll hit all these unnumbered ones. There we go. Go up 5. Didn't want to fall behind 5, but I wanted to get behind 5 enough that my tomato hit it. Because now I can go against the grain and fight into this path and get to 6 much, much faster than I would if I went back to the beginning of the game. If I went back to the beginning of the level there and cycled around, it would take me so much longer to get to 6. Which is what they want you to do, but not me. I didn't feel like doing that. Yeah. And then I'm going to do the same thing here with 8 and 9, actually. I get started facing the other way. Just missed the bubble there. That's okay. And we'll fight to get over here into 9, and that'll end the level for us much, much faster than they expected. Turn around this way so that we don't have the crazy fighting. Hopefully. Shoot the 9, dude. Oh my gosh, they didn't grab the key of the frame I thought he was gonna.
Now, when you're trying to go against those conveyor belts, if you are angled at all, you're just not. You're just gonna slide to the side.
Yeah, you don't make it, it's like running on a treadmill, like slightly askew. Like you're not making as much forward progress as you're supposed to. So
yeah, you'll get all side progress.
I actually find this level way more difficult than the second to last level that this copy's off of. Have you noticed that at all?
Yeah. When I was saying I don't like the levels with all the you're just going back and forth down a hallway with all the
this is exactly what you're talking about.
The level I was thinking of.
Yeah. This one being smaller puts the glop gun so much closer together. And there's just a lot less resources and abilities to really get your in-game timer that high if you happen to get comboed by a glop gun. So I just find this one to be slightly more dangerous. The other one is just so wide open you can really get out of range of the guns a lot easier. But like that one, like those two are just so close together. And there's far less clocks on the sidelines to just grab as a boost. By the time you get to floor 12, they kind of just want you to beat the game. They're pretty generous with the rewards to help you out.
Yeah, what is it, like Ultra Gauntlet or whatever?
Yeah.
The second last level?
There's like 12 clocks on the sides. Like, just beat this, please.
You're getting shot up, but you're able to get that time right back.
Exactly. And then this is like the mini version of Ultra Commuter that we see at the end, where they'll put 1 and 2 on this side, and 3 and 4 on the other side, and then some hallways in between, and then some wonderful super skates on ice. See if we can keep it clean through here. Hopefully not get too many bumpers. Sit there. 5 is sharp up here, right?
Yeah.
Very smooth. Oh, come on. It might not have gotten hit directly with the tomato, but it definitely had residual damage. Come on.
For sure.
Still tomato paste all over that target. Right. There we go.
Nah, these are actually frozen tomatoes.
Oh.
They don't splatter.
Alright, this is the level that everyone's scared of. This is the level with all the extra bumpers. There's no actual Glock guns in this level, which is kind of funny that they call it this. But gotta make sure we hit this first target, and then don't miss 5 and 6 on the way back. But we're gonna have to pin ourselves to this left wall as best we can here. Perfect. If you end up in there, that literally might just be the level. You might just be stuck there for the rest of the next 30 seconds. That was good. And we gotta do it one more time. Because it's not really useful to fight the current here. There's no little shortcuts or paths that we can take to jump the track.
No.
Alright, let's line ourselves up and do it again. Good. And then make sure we get the 7 this time.
Right. Well done.
Yeah.
That's
a scary one.
If you end up in those bumpers, you're done.
Alright, cool. That wasn't like task level glop gun, but that might have been like best human glop gun I've seen.
Ultra glop gun.
This level can be brutal too. There's, for a casual player, typically speaking, they'll put conveyors like that there and they want you to go that way. That is not the case here. A lot of the currents you'll find, like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be going to nope, well, then you're never going to find 2. Oh, maybe I'm supposed to go to the left. That's where those conveyors are leading. Don't go left. You go left, your run is over.
Yeah.
You have to go up, even though it says that you're not. Like, why would I want to go against this? There's no other way up here, and that's how you get the 5. Also, don't go down there, but shoot the target still. sneak in here, and then it's like, well, the current's going the wrong way. Are you sure, PJ? Yep, this is how you beat the level. It's the only way you can go.
There is no other way.
It's so mean. And they put that at like 11-5, so like if you lost your lives, like, you do have to go beat all of 11 again, including Ultra Glopmill.
We're back to concentrate.
Yeah, this is brutal. I think I've got this routed the best way, but it doesn't mean I'm going to execute it the best way. There's far more obstacles in this one too. But I do think the best way here is to go take the 1 and then immediately cut this way. Then I didn't avoid the blob. I'm just going to go this way then. This 2 is over here, or 3 is over here, rather. Go back to where 2 was, straight down. 4, unnumbered, 5. Get over here so we don't hit the blob. 6. Across this way, there's an unnumbered, and then we got another blob to watch out for. Yeah, it's safe.
There's so many targets in here.
It's so mean. But you can see there's 68 seconds left in the in-game timer, so clearly it was not too punishing. We're in a good spot there.
It's not so bad.
Alright, we're entering floor 12. The 90% run is now back joined with us here. We should know these levels pretty well, but as is the case with all the difficult games out there, even though you know it, it can still go south. So let's hope we grab the skates in the right order here on inside track and not goof any of this up. And then, obviously, things that can go bump on 12-3 is always a potential run killer, too.
Things that go bump. Bet you can't guess what's in there.
This is my favorite level, I think, to route and figure out exactly what the most efficient use of the skates was. I think this was my favorite one.
Oh, I'm certain what I did wasn't the most efficient.
Grab that, come get 4. Save those for later. Because then I'll get down here to 5, and the unnumbered's right as the skate starts to expire. The skates don't stack. Like, you can grab one, but it just immediately resets the timer to it, so grabbing them all at the beginning is really inefficient. We don't want to do that at all. I wanted that one, though. Need you. Get the skate. There we go. If I can get the 7 and back. What a jam. George Sanger. Once again. I'm going to give him another shout-out 6 floors later. And the skate will run out right around here, but we can grab this one right at the right time to grab that. Oh, come on.
Always get the skate. If you didn't have the skate, you're going around again.
I know. Well, you can go on the other track. That's not too bad.
Yeah.
You can just jump down a level, because that's the thing. There are 2 different currents there fighting each other.
Right.
Yeah.
I was thinking of a different level, I think.
Yeah, the Velodrome or whatever.
Yeah.
Alright, we gotta watch these glop guns at the beginning. We're gonna stop to put the global timer on a good cycle for us. Right here. Now we go. And if we get hit here, we get boosted ahead. So it's not too bad.
Well, a lot smarter than me, just trying to power through, and sometimes I just get glopped.
Yeah, no, it's... The global timer gets way better for you if you just wait a second or 2 there. Now, if you wait a second or 2 and then things go south and you're back on the bad cycle and you wasted time, that's not good. Oh, mixed up my rooms there.
I love watching people play this level and trying to go through those 2.
Oh, it's my favorite thing to do when I could... That was always the swag play, to try and sneak between them.
They're like, I gotta get behind that spread shooter, and then there's another one.
Alright, here's where it can go south real bad. We just gotta watch out for the blobs, and watch out for the bumpers, and handle the ice. Only 4 targets, so we don't get a lot of time for if things do go south. That was pretty quick. Of course, that's an interesting mechanic, too, that the target can block the other targets.
Yeah.
When you get stuck behind the 2, you can't shoot at the 1. Got that out of the way. Get in there, dude.
That was efficient. These ones you could definitely sneak past, but...
Oh yeah, it's too tough. Alright, next couple levels are, I don't want to say free, but they're much safer than that was. Enough time here to be okay as long as we don't get glop gun to the top. The blobs can be mean, but there's enough targets that we should be okay. And there's also a clock later in the level if we aren't going really south. But the blobs, man, they're just the worst.
No.
I haven't gotten efficient enough at the point to be able to use those to boost ahead. Not
That's
quite that
dream.
good. That's the dream, though. Like, hit the target, then hit the blob on purpose on the way out. To get boosted ahead.
Blob launch me to the next section.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Alright, keeping it clean through there.
Nicely done.
2 more levels. Ultra Gauntlet and Ultra Commuter. So just tougher versions of ones we've already seen. This is actually, you know, I always thought it was funny that this is the level in the demo at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, the second to last level.
Yeah, they're just like, hey, this is what the game looks like. It's like, you probably never get here. Not because it's too hard, but you probably one of the patients to ever make it this far. But this is what it looks like, by the way.
I do like the background of this level.
Oh, with all the FHs?
Yeah.
I do think it's cool that they actually did make different palettes for all the different floors. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
As repetitive as the game can be, they at least tried to make it, you know, somewhat unique in certain spots.
Right.
Navigate the ice here, and I like to go above the
There's
squad
nothing
gun.
repetitive about going back and forth to hit one target over.
Oh yeah, of a level that's just slightly bigger of the exact same level that you did 2 floors earlier. Ooh, just fucking through there. Oh, hold on, we should probably get quiet though, because we actually get to hear the finishing of the part of this song. We don't get to hear the guitar solo at any part in the rest of the run. So, let's let George Sanger cook. I didn't get quite to the end of the solo there, but I got a good chunk of it. Alright, last level. Time will be when I grab the key.
Ultimate Commuter.
After target number 9. Oh no, we needed that skate. We needed it really bad. It will kill the run if we don't get it. I know it seems ridiculous, just grab a different one, but we absolutely need this one because we need that other one later. Alright.
These skates allow you to traverse the level.
Exactly. Being able to go against the current here and cheat the system and not go through the paths they want you to do can save you a ton of time, and you can see our skate's already expired, so we're gonna go cheat and get a different one. Right here. Where is it? There it is.
You ran into the wrong part of the wall.
I know. I gotta stay low here to not grab this skate first, though.
Yeah.
Ah!
Look at how far those things launch you.
I need that skate, though. No! I didn't want to go too far. Alright, well, we gave away a lot of the time that we had here, probably like 15 seconds or so, but that's alright. Hit the 5, immediately U-turn, come back to get the 6 while your skate's still active. You can kind of cheat and not have to go up and around. Hit 6. That was close. A little closer than I would have liked.
Who knows where you would have been if you
Oh,
hit
yeah.
that.
7's down here in the bottom. Let's avoid all the bumpers on the way into the next tube, please. Good. Gotta hit 8 and then grab the skate, come back straight for 9. That'll be it. Alright, time will be when I grab the key. I'm gonna shoot target 9 and then grab it. And time.
Well done.
A 1:07:51.
Very well done.
Yeah, so this run here gonna be immortalized on speedrun.com for a little bit, Smartball.
Congratulations.
I don't know. That's a new world record in the warpless category, guys.
I'll have to go back and verify it.
Even though we lost 20 seconds on Ultra Commuter, we were still 46 seconds ahead after Ultra Gauntlet. So, still plenty of time. I'm not gonna probably submit this one just yet, but I'll see if I run it again and get a little bit quiet. Oh yeah, we got 3 cutscenes here. We got All Right Dude and all his like galaxy pixels going everywhere. Then we get these cheerleaders here in a second. One of whom looks happy to be there, and her twin sister not so happy to be there. And then we get to see the 6 or 7 people that put this game together. 5 people that put this game together, sorry. But yeah, and that's it. It just loops over and over again. But yeah, George Sanger and David Warhol make some awesome NES music. I definitely advise checking out their catalog there. This game doesn't do the soundtrack, though. Hope you guys enjoyed Funhouse. Smartball, did you have a good time?
Always been fun.
Well, I really appreciate you guys tuning in the really, really longathon, raising money for such a great cause. It's going to continue on for several more days here, and thanks so much for having me, and hope to see you guys on my stream when I'm doing some more NES shenanigans just like this with games that might not quite be as long, but might be a little bit more interesting too. So, thanks so much for watching, guys.